everyone, it's Joy from Artful Homemaking, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different and share my first home birth story. This July, my oldest child turned 20, so 20 years ago I gave birth to my first baby at home. I've had all 5 of my babies at home, and I gave birth to my daughter in 1999 in a home birth situation, and it was one of the most beautiful and empowering moments of my life when I gave birth to my first baby at home. So since she turned 20 just a few months ago, I just was thinking about her birth story and I thought it would kind of be fun to share it. I've shared it on my blog before, but I thought it would be fun to do a video to go along with that. Back when I found out that I was expecting my daughter, I was 23, and I had done quite a bit of research, and I knew I did not want to have my baby in a hospital if I had a low risk birth, and if everything worked out. I really wanted to have a home birth. And back then in the late 90s, I didn't know very many people who'd had home births. I did know a few older homeschool moms who had given birth at home, and they were such an encouragement to me at the time. But I didn't have very many other people that I knew in my life who had ever done this, so it was kind of looked upon as countercultural and maybe kind of weird. And we happened to be going to church with a neonatologist at the time, and he really tried to dissuade us. Understandably, he sees lots of babies that are in distress and babies that have problems and need help. And I know he was only thinking of the safety of mother and child, but he tried to scare me pretty bad because he wanted to change my mind. But I'd already made up my mind. I'd done a lot of research on it. I knew that as long as everything was fine, as long as medically I wasn't a high-risk pregnancy, that I didn't really feel like I had anything to fear about having a home birth. But still, it was the unknown. I'd never had a baby before, so I didn't really know exactly what to expect. But I found a certified nurse midwife and asked her to, come and see me, and we set up a first meeting, and she did blood work, and she was very professional, and she had a ton of training and experience. And anyway, I saw her for all of my prenatal care. She was wonderful. And so yeah, I was looking forward to giving birth to my first baby at home. I'd read every book I could find on home birth, on natural labor techniques, and the Bradley method, and so many other things. I mean, I had read pretty much everything. And so anyway, it was 5 days past my due date, and I was really ready to see my baby, and I went to bed that night just like normal. And I woke up at 2 a.m. to use the bathroom. I went to the bathroom and I got back in bed, and suddenly I heard this audible. I felt this pop, and my water broke after I got back in bed around 2 a.m. And I woke up my husband and I told him, and he pretty much freaked out. He just kind of ran around. He first went and got all of my birth books and he brought them to me. And I was like, what do you want me to do with these? He was just trying to figure out, what should we do? He didn't know what to do. And I said, call the midwife. So he called my midwife, and he was so nervous because he was freaking out. He said, this is David, my water just broke. And he was like, what? I mean, Joy's water just broke. I mean, he was just very flustered. And so she agreed to come over, and she was thinking in her mind, this is going to take a while. This is a first-time mom. And so she thought she could probably just get me comfortable and put me back to bed, make the bed and have me take a shower, and she could go home. So she came to our house, and she had me get in the shower, and she was remaking the bed and getting everything all nice and cozy. And while I was in the shower, I started feeling like my legs were shaking, and I started feeling nauseated, and I thought, something is happening, and I just felt, shaky and terrible. And so I had my husband go get the midwife, and she said, whoa, it looks like you're in transition. So they helped me get back to the bed, and my mom had arrived at this point. She was going to be at the birth. And so I got back in bed, and pretty shortly after getting in bed, I tried to practice my relaxation techniques, but it was not working because I was in transition already. So my water broke, and then pretty quickly thereafter I was in transition, and I felt like I needed to push. And so my midwife said, well, you're ready. So So I went ahead and started pushing, and I pushed for what seemed like ages. I mean, it seemed to take forever. And the reason why it was taking so long, we found out later, is because my baby had her hand up by her face like this. And so it was making the presenting part quite a bit bigger. It was making it harder to, give birth to her. So anyway, after pushing for some time, at 5:30 a.m., she was born, and she was beautiful, and she was perfect and healthy, and she latched on shortly after. The only thing that happened that was kind of a disappointment to me is a perfect birth. It was not full of pain. It didn't take that long. It was from 2 to 5:30, and she was here. The only thing that happened is because it was such a fast birth, and because she had her hand up by her face, I did get a tear that was pretty significant. Thankfully, my midwife was able to stitch me up, and I've never had problems from that since then, and I've never torn like that again. But even though I did have another baby who had their arm up by their face. But anyway, it was a beautiful birth. It was a beautiful experience, and I was just so thankful there were no issues of any kind. And it was just, if it hadn't been for the tear, it would have been a perfect experience. I mean, it was just so, I wouldn't even describe it as excruciatingly painful. It was just so amazing. So anyway, I gave birth to my first baby at home, followed by my next 4 babies. They were all born at home, all with certified nurse midwives. And actually I had my same first midwife with 2 of my others later on down the road, because we moved away and then we moved back to the area. But anyway, I have very happy memories and very happy feelings when I think about home birth. It has been such a positive and beautiful experience. If I were to find out that I were expecting today, which I don't know if that's even possible because getting near menopause and all that, but I would totally have another home birth. It was such a great experience. So anyway, I just thought I would share that first home birth experience with you, just share the story with you. And I know the story doesn't last very long because it was such a quick birth. It just literally didn't even take that much time. So I was actually really glad, and some people said to me afterward, that's so unfair that your first birth was so fast. But they admitted that I had so many months of severe hyperemesis, nonstop, uncontrollable vomiting and nausea during my pregnancy. They said, they would take their healthy pregnancy and their long labor over my months and months of sickness and my very quick, fast, and pretty simple labor. So anyway, I don't know, I think I might have accepted a longer labor too if I could have gotten rid of all that sickness that impacted my life in a very great way, because it was such a difficult thing to walk through. And maybe I will share the story of my morning sickness some other time. I just thought I would share that just for fun. I can't believe I have a 20-year-old that I gave birth to at home in 1999 when it wasn't as popular to have a home birth. I'm so thankful for that experience. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed hearing my first home birth story. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, I'd love for you to subscribe. I don't usually tell birth stories, but I just wanted to share that one just for fun. I'd love to see you back here again, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.